Thank you very much. And here's a look at how the lineups break down. How does this change the matchup, Coach?
Well, it changes things significantly, but if you could, he's their best player. He's their leading scorer, leading rebounder, one of their best three-point shooters. But at home, there's a chance that somebody can step up that you don't expect. So better that this game step up. Maybe an Isaiah Jackson, maybe an Ashton Langford. Somebody will step up that you don't expect.
Perhaps Nate Watson, who's out there to jump against Matt Held. Watson coming off a 20-point showing against Creighton. Very versatile offensive freshman. The Friars do win the tap. So Rodney Bullock, leading scorer and rebounder, out for the game tonight for the Friars with a stomach flu.
A lot of things have happened to these Friars this year when you think about Cartwright's injury, Diallo's injury, now the sickness of Bullock, which probably won't last long, but still.
Great feed and the flush for Nate Watson.
Well, they talked about that today, that on pick and rolls, they wanted Watson, who's going to be a really good player, a freshman, to dive quickly to the basket. That was a quick roll. You can't hedge that too hard or you give up dunks.
Diallo pawed at Rousey. Adam off the screen from Helt, dashes to the rim, and Watson swats it. Helt cleans it up.
That was a big-time swat, by the way.
He is a long 6'10", 260, averaging 14.5 per in conference play, still in its infancy. Great backdoor feeds. Watson, though, hesitates. He doesn't pass very well.
And he's not a good shooter, and that's why he knows. But he knows where his bread is buttered, on that box. You don't find too many kids that big that know I'm a box player. He is.
Diallo, nice feed, two-handed jam for Watson.
He knows where to be, that's for sure. That's 2 layups in a row. Steve Wojciechowski was talking to us today. They're primarily a man-to-man team, that their defense is getting better. It's what he needs this team to continue to improve on if they're going to reach their potential.
Marcus Howard, who's in a shooting funk off the fake, slithers rim. Hauser, the reluctant triple. Off fire, good box out by the Friars. Diallo aboard. Kyron Cartwright has sprained his ankle twice this year.
He looks pretty good right now. I watched him in warm-ups. I watched him in shoot-around today. I think that ankle looks pretty good today.
The scoring, as you mentioned in the open, is down, particularly in his last 7 games. It falls in line with his pair of injuries. Isolated, Watson against Helt, contested, finger grazed, and Hauser says thank you.
There's an example of when he's got to kick it out. He didn't have anything there. This kid here is just so tough. Andrew Rousey, I know he's a three-point shooter. He makes 4 a game, or just about 4 a game, but he can also take it to the basket. He made a floater at the end of that Georgetown game in the last minute. I couldn't believe he made it with his left hand off the backboard.
Yeah, you described that to Steve Wojciechowski today, and the angle high off the square. Still in disbelief, even having seen it.
Yeah, I can't believe it. It looked like it didn't even go in, and it went in the basket.
Jackson able to post up, but can't finish. One and done. Rousey with the nimble dribble. Attacks Diallo and gets to the line. Ed Cooley, the veteran head coach for Providence, inherited a program that had a losing record in 6 of the prior 10 seasons, 1 trip to the big dance. He's led this program now to 4 straight 20-win campaigns, 4 straight tournament appearances, while Steve Wojciechowski, who won 3 of his first 4 head-to-head with the Friars, got swept last year.
Both these guys do a tremendous job. There are some really, the whole league is made up of some tremendous coaches. And let's say this about Ed Cooley. I was shocked when I heard last year that it was the first time in the history of a school with this kind of tradition for a long, long time. Dave Gavitt was the coach, and so many great was Rick Pitino. First time 4 years in a row in the NCAA tournament. I was shocked.
Does have a tournament win in that time as well. And here's some pressure from Marquette. Makar Adam Fronts, who redshirted last year to learn the system.
Well, Steve Wojciechowski talked about one of the key things for him in this game was speeding up the tempo. And with Rodney Bullock out, he wants it even faster than he thought he wanted it.
Rousey on the run. Again, facing Diallo, who's got a foul. Off the bobble, Howard. Rousey, ball screen from Helt, Diallo over top. Hauser driving. Pops and sinks. Rock solid, Steve Wojciechowski said of his 3-man.
Good player, the type of guy you want. He is the prototype, and so is Rodney Bullock, who's not here, of a modern-day stretch 4-man. Can make threes, can spread a defense, but rebounds enough.
What a diagonal give. How did he see that?
That's 3 layups in a row. That's 3 layups for Providence out of their first. All 6 points, layups.
And as you mentioned, Steve Wojciechowski said they need to get better defensively. He feels they have in recent games, but the metrics on the year are not pretty. Howard, his shooting woes continue with a foul on the floor in pursuit of the free ball. It'll go on Help, his first.
Well, you take a look here. I mean, this is just really falling asleep on defense. That time, Rousey, you got to be closer to the body to the guy you're guarding in that situation. You can't go behind the guy when the guy is that. You can't leave that much space between you and the guy cutting to the basket. Rousey, that was not good defense.
Theo John in, Help to the bench. John is the matchup with Watson. Got a couple of buckets in the early going. Cartwright leaning back over Rousey, sinks it. Comes up, palms to his eyes.
Great move for a small guy to have that step back, and that was a really nice step back by Kyron Cartwright.
He's got 4 early. Nice feed, John. And what defense by Isaiah Jackson to disrupt. Diallo wants it, size mismatch with Rousey. And a whistle. We will step aside, back and forth they go. The Friars near the rim, the Golden Eagles with the Jays. Can hit shots you don't take. I almost imagine a kitten dangling by a single paw with that phrase in script underneath. It's Providence entry, foul to Andrew Rousey, his first. That brought about the time out of the floor. They go inside, and the distribution of the basketball continues. Count it. And the foul, 4 dimes early for the Friars.
Well, you take a look here. Amin that time turns his head and takes a look at the ball and loses his man who back cuts him. That was a heck of a pass by Khalif Young.
And so Alpha Diallo at the line for the and one. He's among those that have missed some time this year with injury. 79% shooter, sinks it. Hurt his ankle in the win against Brown December the 6th, missed 3 games and came back for the advent of conference play with St. John's as the Friars show a different defense. Marquette recognizes.
I expected to see them play zone, and that's what you worry about when you play zone, is giving up 3-point shots to a team that makes 12 a game. One of the top 10 3-point shooting teams in the nation, both from makes and a percentage standpoint.
Howard was in a 6 for 23 funk before that make. Last year's top 3-point shooter in the country when he hit 55%. What great steal, and Jackson puts it home.
And they saw the mismatch between Marcus Howard and Isaiah Jackson, and that's what Ed Cooley will do. He will take advantage of those things, kind of like pro coaches like to do. That was a great example of that.
Providence a little bigger with Khalif Young on the floor. Remember, no Rodney Bullock. He's out for the game tonight with a stomach flu. What a threaded pass, and the spectacular acrobatics, unnecessary, but beautiful for Theo John. Providence, though, has spread the floor incredibly well.
Very well, considering, and they don't have their second best 3-point shooter.
Twisting Jay for Cartwright. He's got 6.
This kid, all those moves that you see Cartwright do, the last step back, that shot, all legs. He has his lift tonight, really getting up in the air on his shot.
And remember, he's coming off an ankle injury. Re-aggravated an ankle injury, first suffered in mid-December, last time out New Year's Eve against Creighton. Rousey hasn't had as many touches. Gets a ball screen here. Mismatch against the big, and he can't finish the length.
Well, let's take a look here at how they get the ball in. Watch Isaiah Jackson here. He knows he's got a smaller guy on him. He reverse pivots. Not enough pressure on the ball. You got to pressure that passer to make that hard for that ball to get inside.
Rousey out of the corner. He's been matched up with Diallo very often. Diallo does have a foul. Rousey the same, defending him at the other end. Theo John stepped through with an extra stride. The travels galore that were not travels the last time these teams met. When this was a very slippery surface on February the 25th of last year. There's ice underneath this floor. The Bruins AAA AHL team, the Providence Bruins, play here. And warm weather combined with fog led to condensation and a changing of the rules at halftime, where slip and falls were not travels, but instead dead balls, with the offensive team retaining possession. Extended pressure from Marquette. They go high post, kick out. Cartwright from deep, drains it.
This kid really, his best game this year was 2 games ago at St. John's, he played great. He has struggled to get in double figures until that game against St. John's, and now tonight it looks like he's on his way.
He averages 9 a game on the season. He already has 9 in the first 7 minutes this evening. Hauser feeds on the bounce. Froling, the SMU transfer, nice head fake. Banks it home.
You know, you have to say part A of Ed Cooley's game plan, which was limit three-point attempts. So far, so good. Only 3 attempts by Marquette that shoot almost 30 a game. He'd rather give up those 2s than guys getting 3s.
And Cartwright attacks Rousey off the bounce for a foul. That's 2 on the top scorer in the Big East.
And that is a deep, deep 3 coming from a kid who right now in this game playing with a lot of confidence. That leg feeling pretty good.
So at the line with a chance to reach double digits for just the 2nd time in his last 8 games, but Rousey riddled with foul trouble. 2 fouls. What do you do?
That's big. I think you got to take him out at least for a little while.
Rousey will sub away. They'll bring on Greg Elliott, one of several freshmen infused into the rotation earlier than initially believed necessary due to the departure of Hanif Cheatham, who transferred back home for personal reasons to Florida Gulf Coast.
And I think Kane, Elliott, and Theo are going to be good players. They're just getting their feet wet right now. Well, Kane was Rookie of the Week last week.
Outstanding showing against Xavier. That's Jamal Kane, top of the key. On the flick to Hauser. And a whistle off ball. Getting too physical.
I think so far, Providence's defense has been really a high level in terms of the way they're closing out, the way they're playing on the perimeter, and it's going to invite some inside passes, there's no question, but this is part of the game plan.
That's now 5 fouls on the Golden Eagles, 1 on the Friars. The last one picked up by Harry Froling. But a carry and a turnover here for the Friars. That's the first giveaway the Friars have had in this game. Ed Cooley's team, last time out, bombed by Creighton. Nate Watson at 20 points, but the Friars were 3 for 23 from outside. Got rocked on the road. They've responded well here at home. Howard on high. Off target, Cartwright on the run.
Really good contest by Khalif Young, getting out on that. Didn't allow, his man got screened, so he jumped out. Pretty good contest by the big man.
Cartwright against Hauser. Heavy contact, shot not there. Cartwright, flailing hands, thought he was fouled. Diallo makes up for it, buries the baseline J. Kane looks to Hauser, the lone 2. Untrue. And the one-handed soaring rebound snatched by Khalif Young. Diallo slithers, bumped, and he'll go to the line.
Well, Kyron Cartwright thought he got fouled. It comes out to Alpha.
That he was the man that makes Providence go, and Ed Cooley said that he's at his best when he's going full throttle, when he has blazing speed. That's been held in check by injury this year. He's looked great tonight. What a lob. The finish not clean, and Helt grabs the loose ball. A foul. Trying to disrupt.
Watson would have been better off there in catching that ball, coming down with it, gathering himself, and then powering up to the basket. Probably would have got fouled.
Give Alpha Diallo his 2nd personal. That's the Friars' 2nd leading scorer on the year. Their top man, Rodney Bullock, is out tonight. He's not even in the building with the stomach flu. Sakar Anum lost his footing, gives it away. Power play for the Friars. Playing 2 point guards here. McKee Ashton Langford, number 1 on the floor, along with Kyron Cartwright.
They're really high on this kid. He just has to become a better shooter.
Diallo shot, tough shot. Rims away, Adams got it.
He's not really a good, he made a couple of threes there last game. He's not a good three-point shooter.
Howard, a brilliant shooter. Contested shot and a foul. That's going to be 3 on Alpha Diallo.
Wow. That's a tough one there.
And that's basically gifting points. As you mentioned in the open, he's made 47 consecutive free throws going back to last year.
I hope we're not the ones to make a miss. That would be the ultimate jinx.
Howard's first is true as we check in with John Rothstein.
Well, guys, it's interesting with Marcus Howard. He grew up in Mesa, Arizona, played for the Las Vegas Prospect AAU team, but wound up in the Big East because his mother was born in New Jersey. So a West Coast kid with East Coast roots.
Appreciate that, John. He had originally committed to Arizona State. That's when Stan Johnson was on that staff, but a coaching change, decommitted. And, oh, by the way, Stan Johnson now on the staff at Marquette.
Yeah, and this kid had to buy his first coat, I'm sure.
Andrew Rousey, the Big East leading scorer, tethered to the bench with a couple of fouls. Tyron Cartwright getting a blow here. He's off the floor, along with Diallo, who's got 3 fouls, buried on the bench for the Friars. Blocked by Help.
Good help coming over from the weak side.
Team leading 20th block. He became a vital part of their starting lineup in mid-February last year, the Xavier game. That was the turnaround point as Adam tried to anticipate, could not get enough air, commits the foul, his second.
It's one of those ones you just can't stop.
And it also means bonus has arrived. 7 fouls against Marquette, 3 on the Friars. So 1-and-1 free throws for Isaiah Jackson, the 70% shooter.
And let me say this, that third foul on Diallo, that's a big one. Because, I mean, you're talking about now, this kid, he can't play the rest of this half, that's for sure. So that's 10 minutes. And he has to be careful because he gets one early in the second half. He's done for a long time.
Silly pass there against the grain of the lane by Howard. Trickles through on Help.
I like playing guys with 2 fouls in the first half. I just don't like, I think he needed to sit out like 3 or 4 minutes, bring him back in with like 6 to go.
Jackson pawed at, stripped by Hauser. Numbers on the run. Kane. Howard releases. Took a bump, no call, shot off, 1 and done.
Really good defense by Edwards that time.
Some shake. And nowhere to finish with Angle. Ashton Langford, freshman at 6'3". Got size on Howard. Carries the basketball. Dave Cooley very upset.
Yeah, you see 2 of those in one game. It's a rarity. You almost didn't see 2 of those in a park game.
Jackson subs away.
But you wouldn't dare call it a park game. Somebody might hit you.
The physicality of the Big East can have some elements of that at times.
Yeah, it's different when you call your own.
Hauser trying to call his own number here. Aggressively takes it to the rim. Off target, and the tip true. But once again, as you mentioned from the game's jump, a lot of looks inside the arc.
Yeah, they're getting a lot, and I think, again, that's part of what Providence is not necessarily giving to them, but you've got to give something up if you're going to get out and pressure those 3-point shooters so much.
Good look. Watson finds the open 3. Ashton Langford off target. Kane the weak side board. Howard denied on the dribble drive.
The guy who's got to get involved in this game for Providence now is Jalen Lindsey.
He's been incredibly quiet. Hop through. Extra feed and Help, the hesitation. Puts it home. We have a tie, game at 21.
Well, you know, you look at the effects of having all those 3-point shooters and spreading the floor out. And we're talking about this without Rousey in the game. And now, interestingly enough, it looks like Wojo may go this whole half without Rousey back in the game.
They've scored 6 unanswered with the league's top scorer on the bench. The ball movement not as fluid, but Cartwright's back. And he loses his footing in the basketball.
Well, Marquette sticking with what they do, spacing the floor. Look at, took advantage of it for the layup.
2 points in the last nearly 5 minutes for the Friars. None of the last 4:09 with 3 turnovers in that span. 3 fouls for Alpha Diallo, that's part of it. Also Rodney Bullock, their top scorer and rebounder, not even in the building tonight with the stomach flu.
But with Jalen Lindsey, one shot attempt, that can't happen.
And he shows some defense there on Hauser. Ball inline out of bounds, Providence basketball. Lindsey to trigger. Froling will sub in for Hauser. Andrew Rousey's been on the bench for a long time, picked up his second foul in the game's relative infancy for Marquette.
Yeah, and it looks to me like he's not coming back in this half. I like bringing the guy back in with 2 fouls to play a little bit, to feel like he's part of the game. But the fact that he's an upperclassman, I think Steve Wojciechowski's not going to worry about that. Feels the kid will come back and be ready to go.
Cartwright, so creative at the game start. He's been defended more deftly since. Slice to the rim and one! Isaiah Jackson.
And that's really bad help. That's what you call Matador defense.
Harry Froling with his second foul. Jackson converts as we check in with John Rothstein.
Well, guys, Isaiah Jackson having a big impact in this game for Rodney Bullock. Another guy transferring up from a lower-level conference. Everybody knew about Andrew Rousey transferring from UNC Asheville. Isaiah Jackson coming to Providence after a redshirt year from George Mason. A big part of the college game today. Transfers going up.
Howard, the free throw line, Jay off, one and done. And Jackson, who played through a toe injury at George Mason, transferred out shortly after Paul Hewitt was given the axe in March of 15. 3 ball. Off target, held a great box out. Marquette tracks down the loose ball. Jamal Cain getting more time. Guarded by Cartwright. High post Froling. Held screaming, I'm open. Cain against the grain of the lane. They've done that a couple of times and turned it over. The headman too tall. Cartwright looking for the sprinting Jackson. That's 5 giveaways for each team.
The changing up of defenses has really helped Providence try to keep Marquette off balance.
And Rousey back into the fray here, Coach, with 6:16 to go and 2 fouls. He had been on the bench for over 6 minutes.
I thought he would have come in a little bit sooner, but I like the move. I always felt it was important to not let a guy sit 10 minutes, last 10 minutes of the first half, and expect him to be okay to start the second half.
Steve Wojciechowski called him one of the more underrated guards in America. You agree?
Oh, 33 a game in the Big East. I'd say if people don't know who he is now, they'll never know.
Jackson hit and fouled by Helt, so Helt's got 2. It's now Adam, Helt, Froling, and Rousey with 2 apiece for Marquette, and it's the last of the 1-and-1s here.
You know, let's understand this. Providence is a team that gets fouled a lot. They have 50, 60 more attempts than their opponents this season, so they do get to the foul line.
And that's something that Marquette has not done as well, something Steve Wojciechowski spoke about after his first couple of conference games this year, needing to find creative ways to get to the line.
And, you know, it's funny because Rousey has shot over 90 free throws this year, so he does get there a lot, but he's really the only guy who gets there consistent.
7 points now for Jackson. Helt subs away. Theo John, a much thicker 6'9", 245, enters. Aggressive pressure from the Friars. Rousey slices through, changes hands, and puts it home.
I mean, this guy at his size does some of these things at the basket that are incredible. That's a great pass.
Young finds Jackson off target. Young over the back. Khalif Young with his first.
Well, you see Rousey here. I mean, that is some shot. That is, you know what? This kid must be a good pool player, too, because there's all kinds of English on that cue ball.
Comes off a 35-point showing against Georgetown. He grew up idolizing Allen Iverson. Finished second in Virginia Prep history in scoring to AI. Saw similarities between the two as undersized guards with chips on their shoulders. Foul on the floor. Fouls piling up here. That'll be 2 on Khalif Young. It's now 9-5 team fouls. Double bonus, a foul away in the Friars' favor. Nate Watson back in with Young subbing away. Watson can certainly score. Where does he need to grow?
He's got to become a better passer. I mean, this kid, they were joking about it today. The kid's got one assist. I mean, here's a guy who plays 16 minutes a game. He's got one assist on the season.
Rousey leans in and gets fouled in the act. He is the master at what they have grown to call in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the thing. That small little hesitation and lean to draw the foul, often in the act of a triple.
Wow, I don't know if that's a foul. I mean, that's...
And you speak of the volume he has at the line, that's part of it. One of his 4-point plays came at the Friars' expense last year in the 1-point finish in Milwaukee.
No, he is a tough kid, a crafty kid, knows how to play. Obviously, he's very talented because he can shoot it.
He's now got 8 points, 89% this year at the line. Last year was 4th in the country at 93%.
Boy, at the end of games between him and Marcus Howard, you got one guy shoots 93, one guy shoots 100%. It's going to be hard to, if you can get the ball in their hands when you have a lead and people have to foul, you're not losing.
Froling getting his right knee looked at. It appears they're taping up a bloody area on the right knee. The 4 starters for Marquette on the year, 88% or better at the free throw line. That helps Steve Wojciechowski in terms of substitutions late. He can keep his regulars in and know they're almost all money. And Rousey off the pine, 6 minutes, strung down on the bench with fouls. He bursts out of the scene with points on back-to-back possessions. Friars feel like they're spreading the floor, taking some air out here.
Well, I don't know if they're really trying to, they're trying to get a good shot. They're not really trying to have a great pass again. That they've been able to do. That time they double the low post and nobody rotates inside of the guy.
Well, that's happened with some rare regularity, some easy looks on those backdoor cuts. Froling trying to post, they lob it to him. One-on-one with Lindsay, gives up size. Shoulders him down, turnaround, off iron. And then Froling goes over the back for a foul. So Froling's got 3.
You know, doubling the post is a good thing. You're going to see Froling coming over to double the post, but nobody rotates inside of here. That's got to be Kane who's got to get back on that. If you're going to trap a post man, somebody's got to rotate to the other big guy, especially in a big-to-big like that. Somebody got to rotate to the other big guy, dive into the basket.
So 3 fouls on Froling and 2 free throws. Double bonus has arrived. Jalen Lindsay, last year 74%, this year just 61. That's his first point of the night. Froling to the bench with 3 fouls. Remember, Alpha Diallo has been on the bench for some time with 3 fouls for Providence.
Yeah, he's definitely done for the half. He was done as soon as he picked up that 3rd one.
Free throw makes a 2-possession lead. Howard in, Elliott out. Howard just 1 of 5 from the field tonight, 1 of 4 from 3. It's a 4-game funk.
Yeah, he's been struggling. He made that 3 early in the game, but he has really been struggling.
Rousey pawed at on the perimeter. Foul on the Friars. And Drew Edwards with his first.
I think the size of the Providence perimeter defenders is definitely bothering Marcus Howard especially.
Bonus time has arrived. So Rousey, Mr. Automatic, makes the journey.
Except for Cartwright, they have pretty good size on the perimeter, Providence.
A lot of length, able to clog those passing lanes. Rousey gets the roll. Friars swept the series last year, got their first ever win at Marquette, and roared back from down a dozen to win at home in late February. Aided their path to a 4th straight NCAA tournament. Marquette made the journey to the big dance as well and won a game. Nice head man to Watson. Kicks out to Jackson, drives, floats it up. Kane, friendly fire. They nearly turn it over. Hauser collects. Howard, nice feed. Theo John, point blank. Cartwright with a double screen. Backs in, twisting Jay, banks it home. 12 points for Kyron Cartwright.
He's really tough. He gets in that lane, and that's what you have to stop, that dribble penetration.
This has largely been a two-possession game. Wadey! And a silly giveaway. Edwards never settled. Howard in rhythm. His struggles continue.
And he's not going to get a great, he averages over 3 threes a game. You're not going to get much better than that.
And that's a third foul on Rousey. You applaud the aggression, but it might not have been the smartest move.
Yeah, the other team's backcourt, no excuse for that.
He had 4 points in the first 7.5 minutes, then picked up his second foul, sat for over 6 minutes, came in and put up 7 in 3 minutes time before he committed that third foul. And that sent Cartwright to the line. So while the Big East leading scorer is on the bench, its top distributor at the stripe.
And here's the thing about that. All right, we know he's going to sit the rest of this half, but if he goes and gets that fourth early in the second half, he's done till there's like 4 minutes to go in the game. That's what you can't have happen.
And the chess match has some extra wrinkles. No Rodney Bullock for the Friars tonight. Stomach flu. He's not even in the building. Howard to the rim. Stripped on the way there. A foul. We'll get Tate Watson here with his first. Alpha Diallo, 3 fouls for the Friars.
And that's what Howard needs to do. If they're going to close out on him really hard, because understand this, Providence has limited Marquette to 7 attempts. Can't make a whole lot of threes if you only have 7 attempts, a team that averages almost 30 a game. Howard's got to look to drive it. If they're going to close on him that hard, put it on the ground and get to the basket and get to the free throw line where it's automatic.
50 consecutive makes. Rousey watches with a towel on his shoulders. Howard, though, is shooting woes from the field in his last 4 games, including tonight. He's 15 for his last 50 from the floor and just 7 for his last 27 from outside.
You know, you asked me about that, his shoot around, like why would that be happening? You know, those game plans, every game plan is about Marcus Howard and Andrew Rousey. And at some point, they're going to get you. But he's the kind of kid, because he's good enough, he'll be back.
Cartwright. Physical action in the paint, gives it up. Elliott on the run. Kane left into a chest-to-chest body check with Cartwright.
Yeah, that was a lot there.
Kane snaps it. Howard deep. Rains it down.
Jalen Lindsey came off him to help on Kane, and you cannot leave Marcus Howard alone.
Howard to double figures with 10. You mentioned it. Between Rousey, Howard, and Hauser, they score 70% of Marquette's points on the season. And it's right about in line again tonight. We approach 2 minutes, tied at 33. Off the bounce, the end-line drive. Nifty behind the back dribble. Edwards in a tough spot, holds the pivot. 5 to shoot. Jackson uncorks a 3. Bad brick. Watson taps it. Lindsey picks it up. Plenty of time. And Cartwright calmly resets. Been a couple of years apprenticing under Chris Dunn, and he's learned how to distribute like that. Watson in prime real estate got hit.
I mean, you take a look at this last basket by Marcus Howard, a little bit of a miscommunication again by Providence, which left Jalen Lindsey in no man's land. But he's got to stay closed here. He was coming to help here on Kane because there was a miscommunication with Edwards. And you leave the wrong guy alone. The 2 guys you cannot leave alone. Actually, you got to say Hauser's almost in that. He shoots 48% from 3. Can't leave those guys alone. Mark, the reason why Providence has been ahead this whole game is because of the threes they've limited in Marquette.
Second free throw is good. How reliant has Marquette been on the three-point shot on the season? Well, last time out, they did not make a field goal inside of the arc in the entire second half.
Hey, when half your shots, 49.6% of their shots are from the three-point line, it's a big part of your arsenal.
The possessions heightened importance down the stretch here. Timing also crucial. John again point blank misses. And without a plan, Watson coughs it up. Shocked to be that open. Howard, the reluctant layup. No, and John cleans it up.
I tell you what, this kid has struggled to make some easy ones, Theo John, but I like what I see from him. I didn't realize he was that athletic. He obviously is very strong.
Led his native state of Minnesota in shots blocked, but he also can rise above the rim. Friars without a field goal for over 2.5 minutes. Cartwright stepping back, snaps the string.
He's got that step back, John, down pat.
And he's got 15 points. Friars by a skinny point. What a move by John, fed by Howard. Dunk time. What do you do here about a 7-second differential?
I think you run it down as far as you can. You go with about 8 to go on the shot clock.
Each team has to use it or lose it. Cartwright calls for a screen. With 8 on the shot clock, they run it in earnest. The flip down low to Watson, twirls and puts it home. 10 seconds.
That was really bad defense by Theo John. He didn't get back nearly fast enough on Watson.
Howard coughs it up and line out of bounds. 1.1 seconds, what's realistic?
Throw it down. I'm the type I would just throw it back to my guy and let the half end, that's it. And not even try to get a shot.
Ashton Langford at the horn, three-quarter court, off target. A 1-point margin, Providence 8-1 when leading at the half this year. Down its top scorer and disparity from the season versus tonight. Marquette has only lost 4 games all year, 3 to nationally ranked opponents, but tonight is just the Golden Eagles' second true road game of the year. They blew out Wisconsin on the road, played 3 at the Maui Invitational. Every other game has been at home.
And you think about it, they're freshmen, which is what happens with freshmen when they go on the road early on in their careers. They struggle. Kane, Elliott, Theo John haven't done a whole lot in this game.
Howard, incredibly deep. That's just his 3rd made field goal in 9 tries on the night, but he's got 13 points. He's been active at the line, as has Rousey.
They're great three-point shooters. You got to worry about them making them clean. You got to bank them in, too.
Jackson, defended by Annam. Cartwright on the reset. Screen comes. Tried the back door, disrupted, tapped out of bounds. Last touch by Hauser, 6 on the timer.
Well, you see Marcus Howard here, they kick it out.
No fear in that young man.
No.
Cartwright, 5 to shoot. Saw the bounce to Edwards. Rattles loose to hell. Neither team led by more than 6 in a very tight first half. Howard floats it up and in.
Both these kids, Rousey and Howard, and interestingly enough, I think it's a great move by Steve Wojciechowski to not start Rousey in the second half with that 3rd foul. And also Cooley not starting off with Diallo. Well, both those kids have that floater, which for a smaller guy is a really important move to have.
Howard has as many field goal makes in the first minute plus of the second half as he did in the entire first stanza. They get a foul on the floor as Rousey is the warm-up on. He's on the bench with 3 fouls. He did put up 11 points to lead Marquette in the first half. That last foul to Annam, he's got 3. Dragged into the paint. Lindsay, minimal touches in the first.
Yeah, Hauser's done an unbelievable job on Jalen Lindsay, closing out hard, knowing he's a 3-point shooter.
Deflected ball. Hauser feeds Howard, who curls corner. Pops the 3.
Oh, wow.
He is heating up, and Ed Cooley says, I need a timeout. Marquette with its largest lead of the game. It's been the Marcus Howard show to begin the second.
Saw them twice in December. They could be the first team ever to lose 3 games in a row in December and win the national title. They are really good. And now that Raleigh Alkins is back, big difference.
Alpha Diallo is back for Providence. He brings it up against the fading Marquette pressure.
And now, think about it. How good does it look for Steve Wojciechowski to keep Rousey out and have a 7-point lead? Keep him out longer now, too.
So Rousey with 3 fouls. Did not begin the second. Neither did Diallo with 3 fouls, but he's now in. Cartwright hit by Helt. That'll be 3 on Matt Helt. And that can slice into the burgeoning deficit for the Friars.
You know, right now, Providence has to get some other option besides Kyron Cartwright. That's the problem. They've got 9 points from Nate Watson. Those have all been really layups, not really moves or shots. And they've been off really Marquette's mistakes. They need somebody else to get involved. To me, the guy is Jalen Lindsey. He's a 4th-year guy who has scored a lot of points in his career. He has 2 so far in this game. He has only taken 1 shot.
Cartwright with 17 points has shouldered most of the load. The big shoulders of Theo John check in for Helt after Helt picked up his 3rd.
They are really missing Rodney Bullock right now because, as you can see, scoring-wise, they've only had 1 option, and it's a guy, Cartwright, who really hasn't played that well offensively all year.
Nate Watson out. Khalif Young is in for the Friars. Elliott, the dump to Hauser. Attacking Lindsey, twisting Jay, rattles down.
You know, he's just a good player, and I hear his brother, who's coming in next year, is every bit as good, if not better, than him, Joey Hauser.
Signed the national letter of intent back on November the 8th. Ranked as high as 32nd in the country by recruiting services.
I mean, he's in the top, statistically, in 7 categories. He's in the top 15 in the Big East.
Cartwright, what an electric step. And a whistle as Young tried to free the ball on the weak side. Take a look at the footwork of Hauser.
Hauser's 6'8", he's a really good 3-point shooter. He obviously has played some in the post in terms of what he did in high school. Just a tough shot to guard.
Big foul here, though. Sakar Annam with his 4th foul. Now, he scores 6 a game, but he does a lot more than that. He's one of their best defenders.
He does do a lot of things, there's no question, but I think if they're going to pick a guy to get 4, that'd be the guy to pick. And he had a great game in their last game against Georgetown. He was terrific.
Had one of the better games of his career. 7 points, 8 boards, a career-high 5 dimes. Did suffer a knee bruise in that game. And Young, a sub-50% free throw shooter, struggles again at the stripe. John trying to post. Sets the screen for Howard. Rolls rim, Howard kicks, Kane. Coughs it up to Diallo, the active hands of Cartwright. Diallo transition base, the free throw line, Jay is off. And Cartwright reset, threads the needle to Young, fouled hard by Theo John.
Well, that's what I would call a good foul. First, Khalif Young is not a good free throw shooter. And if you're gonna foul him, just make sure he doesn't make the basket. That is a good, hard foul.
So Theo John with his 2nd, and Khalif Young, who hails from Ontario, Canada. According to his dad, Tony, out of Orangeville Prep, it came down to Providence or Marquette. It was Steve Wojciechowski versus Ed Cooley on the recruiting tracks, looking for Khalif Young. And now Wojo managing foul issues, including 4 on Adam, 3 on Helt, Froling, and Rousey.
And he looks much better this year physically. He's lost some weight from last year. He's got a chance to be good.
Golden Eagles have owned the first 3.5 minutes of a second for the strip here. Jackson, other end, curls it home. Nine points for Isaiah Jackson, and the crowd roars. Howard aggressively defended. Foul on the floor. He'll get Cartwright.
Well, this is a pretty good job here by Isaiah Jackson, just not allowing his man to get the handoff and jumping that.
He was the team's Unsung Hero Award winner a year ago. Came on in a bigger role in the late stage of the campaign. After his first foul, Cartwright will get a blow. He'll be replaced by Ashton Langford. They're also maximizing some real-time rest. Next dead ball will mean immediate timeout. Howard's had the ball in his hands. He's been leading the show. The taut dribble, coughs it up under duress, foul on the floor. Ashton Langford with his first. The boos chorus down. Also keep in mind, he is a sophomore. He's 18 years old. He played most of last year at age 17, did not turn 18 until March 3rd. He graduated high school early.
Yeah, Wojo was telling us that he's like 6 months older than Trae Young, did he say, or 6 months
younger?
6 months younger than Trae Young, who's the great freshman at Oklahoma. I guess it wouldn't mean as much if he was 6 months older. I guess that kind of makes sense.
Carrying the weight, carrying the load with the outside shooting prowess. Rousey is back in the game here. 3 fouls carry over from the first. Showing some sizzle. Elliott dumps to John. Give and go! Elliott with the left hand off the iron. Out of bounds. And it's Marquette ball. The timer had reset as he hit the iron.
I mean, that was a good pass, a good cut to the basket by Elliott, which is what you want to do. Just didn't finish it.
And Khalif Young had a chance to snare the loose ball and deflected it out of bounds. Some words before the entry, Diallo and Hauser.
I've been watching Diallo closely here. He's a tough defender, I'll tell you that.
Crowd thought John had traveled. Misses the close look. Providence on the trot. No Kyron Cartwright, he's on the bench. Diallo got the seal on the much smaller Howard, easy bucket.
That's the second time in this game that they went into the post to one of their guard perimeter players. Isaiah Jackson, the first half, out with Diallo there.
A smart look by Ashton Langford filling in at point. Now beaten by Howard off the bounce. The probing hands result in a second foul on Ashton Langford.
Well, this is not good post defense by Marcus Howard. And one thing about Marcus Howard and Andrew Rousey, they got to get used to guarding guys that are bigger than them, because in every game, they're guarding guys that are bigger than them. That was not good post defense.
And Marquette, the smallest team in the Big East, and Providence is on the bottom end of the spectrum too, especially with Bullock out.
I think the Providence, one thing, the overall length, I think, is a lot more than Marquette.
And Rousey hit on the floor. Very tightly called, but it's been consistent from jump. That'll be Khalif Young with his third. This is an outstanding officiating crew. Jeffrey Anderson, our referee, worked the Final Four last year at the Gonzaga, South Carolina semifinal. Rousey floats it up. He's the master of those shots.
Both those guys are really good at that little floater. And as I said earlier, if you're small, there's no better shot to have than that.
He's got 13, his first points of the second half. Cartwright's ready at the table for the Friars. Nice feed, Diallo misses.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Count it. You saw that instantly.
Yeah, that was, I was a little faster than the referees. That was an easy one. They used to always say, you know, when I coached, I reffed a lot. and that's what they would tell me. Say, aren't you supposed to be coaching, not reffing? Yeah, well, I did both.
The whistle never put away. Jackson to the bench with Cartwright back in for the Friars.
But I was so bad that something like that just happened. I would call it before the refs, and I'd say, how come you guys didn't see that as fast as I did? I get mad at that, even when they made the call for me.
These days, they love you.
Oh,
Cartwright, what a move. Rousey on the run, right into the breadbasket of Diallo. Ed Cooley not happy. Three ball for Howard, good!
Well,
Howard drains a triple.
That ball was off Diallo, by the way.
21 for Howard. They go over top. Young wide open.
I mean, rolling, if you're going to hedge a pick and roll, you got to get back to the roller a little bit faster than that. That was really slow by Frawley.
He was only added at the midpoint of the year. Transferred from SMU in December of last year. Or last season, I should more aptly say. Hauser, corner look for Howard, slashes rim, floater off target. The one-handed rebound, Diallo. Steve Wojciechowski admitted they're still learning how to integrate Froling. Cartwright off the bounce. Snaps it out. Cartwright has Howard. No help lying in wait. Doubled. Young the extra give. Diallo the fake to the cup with one on the timer.
I like this kid. He's a good player. Solid, knows what he can do.
11 for number 11. They're on their feet at the dunk. Froling needs help. Finds Howard.
Look at Jalen Lindsey's face guard Rousey. And this is face guard.
Howard, the deep three. Unconscious.
Cartwright, mistake. You cannot leave those two guys alone to help.
He's got 24, 14 of them in the second half. He's still got 12 minutes to go. Lindsey.
Hauser is all over Jalen Lindsey. Can't get a shot.
What an aggressive take. Ashton Langford couldn't finish. Diallo picks it up. A reset timer. Ashton Langford unleashes an air ball. Froling cups it.
Yeah, he should not be shooting the ball. He's not ready to make a three right now.
Howard, transition three.
He
on
is.
fire.
He's ready to make threes.
I think his shooting funk is over.
You know, this is a big reason why Wojo wants to play in transition, because these smaller guys get easier looks in transition than they do in a half court. Let's face it, if there's more space, it's better for small guys. Less space, not as good. That's a good pass and a good finish.
Brilliant feed by Cartwright. Young pays it off. Can Howard spring himself free again? Runs end line. Rousey finds him, so does Diallo. Off the jab step, stepping back. Heat check. Saved by Froling to Rousey.
Diallo is a much better defender. And his size, look at the size difference between him and Marcus Howard.
Height and length. Howard. Snaps it to Hauser. Good up fake on Cartwright. Nice bounce pass. Froling rejected, and he gets it through. Pounds it through the block and one.
And you know, we talked about it. Did Ed Cooley's team talk a lot about those pick and rolls in the first half, and that's allowing more threes? I don't know. These threes that Marcus Howard is making, a lot of them have been really tough threes.
That's the first free throw miss for Marquette as a team on the game. Golden Eagles had been 11 for 11.
I think Providence has to face guard Marcus Howard. You cannot let this guy touch the ball now. Don't worry about helping on anybody. Just face guard him. Nice cut.
Cartwright. And one. Feed the feeder.
Now, this is a great job on this back. Now, you're going to see the ball come out to the top, and this man's clearing out. Now you're going to watch as Lindsey dribbles at his man, they take their eyes off of Cartwright, and he's able to back cut.
And Sakar Adam with the foul, which means he has fouled out. So the Golden Eagles are down one of their more versatile players and one of their better defenders.
Yeah, he had a rough night tonight, as good as he was against Georgetown.
Finishes with no points, 0 for 1 from the field. In 9 minutes, had a turnover, no dimes, 1 board. And one for Cartwright. Swish.
I like Diallo on Marcus Howard. I would tell Diallo, you don't, and look at him, he's face guard now. He's not worried about helping. He's not worried about where the ball is. He's just worried about Marcus Howard.
Howard wearing 0 on the near side, gets the ball. Nice feed to Hauser. Off the iron, Hauser follows, stripped on the way up, tied up. And a jump ball, things got a little chippy there. You can feel the boiling point approaching some.
It's a good game. These kids are playing hard, both teams.
The Providence Friars down so much in terms of bodies with injury on the year. Rodney Bullock out tonight with a stomach flu. Ed Cooley talked about it today at shoot-around. He said, hey guys, our illnesses, our injuries, nobody cares. It's on you to bring it.
Well, certainly Steve Wojciechowski doesn't care, I can tell you that.
Howard the strip. Rousey off the double screen.
No opposing coach would care. Everybody's got their own problems.
Friars 7-1 at home. Rousey incredibly deep. Almost looked like he was searching for the foul.
Yeah,
there.
he was, and he tried one earlier than that, too.
Nice moves by Cartwright. Jackson hesitates. Slashes end line. Fouled on the way up. Look at Greg Elliott for his first. And team fouls mounting. It's now 6 on Marquette, 5 on the Friars.
Well, Isaiah Jackson has done a pretty good job. He's given them a little bit of a lift in this game.
We asked Ed Cooley this morning, if Bullock can't go or is limited, who gets most of those minutes? He paused and he said Isaiah Jackson. And Jackson last year had issue understanding urgency, according to his head coach. He had to tell him, don't worry about fouling. I want you to play aggressively from jump. There was a measured nature to his play last year that snapped into the good graces in the late stage of the year. Big reason why they went to the NCAA tournament. Back to a point, Howard. Held right on the spot under the cylinder.
I mean, that's Khalif Young's got to get that rebound. A good job by Diallo making a hard shot for Marcus Howard. Got to get that rebound.
Cartwright matched up with the freshman Greg Elliott. Gets the screen, feeds Jackson. Driving on Helt, loses handle, somehow keeps his balance, gives it up to Howard. Headman Elliott against Cartwright. Blocking foul, count it. That's a gutsy, aggressive take on the road.
No, it was a good play by the young kid. Nice finish. I think the ref could have let that go.
You got the whistle back, huh?
Yeah, I got it back. Hey, I always got to throw my 2 cents in about the whistle.
That's 2 fouls on Cartwright. Elliott misses. We check in with John Rothstein.
Well, guys, we see Elliott right there with the missed free throw, but a lot of people in the Big East feel that if Elliott, Theo, John, and also Kane, the young nucleus of Marquette, can get something going, the Golden Eagles could be a different team come the second half of conference play, John.
Appreciate that, and that's exactly what Steve Wojciechowski told us this morning. Tip pass, Helt's got it. Rousey, oh, some shake on Cartwright. Howard, his 8th made triple.
I mean, first of all, Cartwright, as good as he's playing this game, too many turnovers. He's got 5 turnovers, I believe, in this game already. You're not expecting that from your senior.
A whistle. Largest margin of the game.
Well, the problem with turnovers is it creates a little bit of an advantage.
Marcus Howard has made 8 from outside. He's got 30 points. Marquette had 8 3-point attempts as a team in the entire first half.
Official fast break points the NCAA use are the most ridiculous stat I ever heard. What they do is you have to have a complete layup in transition as a fast break. Who's getting that? I'm talking about transition 3s, 4-on-3s. Those are fast break points. We got to change that whole point system.
I want to make Steve Lapis king of basketball for a day.
Oh, give me a day. There'll be a lot going on, I can tell you that.
Cartwright with 22. Last year, the Friars were down a dozen right about this point of the game. A little more than 7 minutes left. Came back and won. One of the signature wins to aid their trip to the tournament. Hauser denied twice on the doorstep.
Well, he got killed. Diallo made a great block the first time around.
Now Diallo.
Good
what a look to Young and one! The dime of the night.
Oh, this kid can really play. I mean, Helt comes over to help on the drive. you know, Marcus Howard's got to stay down. Marcus Howard's got to work on his defense. He could shoot it, got to work on his defense a little bit. He closes out on Diallo. He's not a good three-point shooter. He goes for the shot fake, and that's what created that and one for Young. The shot fake, now somebody had to help Marcus Howard, which was helped, and his man gets an and one.
And help with 4 fouls to the bench. Froling takes his spot. Young, who has struggled at the stripe, rim glass and rims away to the leaping Howard. Golden Eagles in just their second true road game of the year. The first, a blowout win over Wisconsin. Howard denies the screen. Thinks better of it. Attacking Young off the bounce. Foul on the floor. So Khalif Young's got 4.
You know, I had a great talk with Steve Wojciechowski today. Obviously, he wasn't the same kind of player as he started at Duke. So he was a really good player. But he's not the same kind of player as Rousey or Marcus Howard. And we were talking, they said, hey, Coach, if I asked those guys to play like me, that would be stupid because we wouldn't be very good. These guys got to be allowed to do what they do because they can do it. They're not the same kind of player I was. He was a true point guard. These guys are scorers.
He was a 2-time National Defensive Player of the Year. Howard, 53 in a row made at the line as we check in with John Rothstein.
Guys, we have seen a three-point barrage by Marquette open up this game. How explosive is this team from deep? The trio of Rousey, Howard, and Hauser coming into this game combined to make more three-point shots than 7 of the other teams in the Big East, guys.
Diallo hacked, that's a staggering number, and it's something that's been going on for a couple of years now with Marquette and their ability to drain from deep.
And you know what? When Wojo was at Duke, I mean, Coach K was always a guy who used the three-point. This is probably the least. Well, he's got Bagley in the lane there, and all over the place, not just the lane. This is probably the least that Coach K has used the three-point shot. But while Wojo was assistant, they used it as much as anybody in the country.
And while he was an assistant, Duke won national titles in 2001 and 2010. It's now a team all loaded with his players, all players that were recruited by Steve Wojciechowski.
I'll tell you one thing about Wojo. He couldn't shoot like these guys, but he could smack that floor and play some D. And when he smacked the floor, you thought he was going to break the court.
The rim rock there on the free throw miss. Rousey got Cartwright spun around.
That could have been a travel. Good defense that time by Cartwright.
Howard against Diallo. Froling screens. Howard feeds and Froling steps. 11 giveaways for each team.
Not a great spot for Froling to catch the ball. 12 feet from the basket. Now he's got to put it on the ground. Lost his footing.
The turnovers were a big reason why Marquette beat Georgetown last time out. Forced the Hoyas into 25 giveaways on the game. Providence is protected better.
Jalen Lindsey, I tell you, what Hauser has done to him in this game, that's a blanket. This guy here, they've had all kinds of trouble with.
Jackson puts it back and banks it home. They're on their feet again in Providence. Rousey coughs it up. Cartwright 3-on-1. Jackson. And Young cleans it up.
What was Andrew Rousey doing there? Was he going to call timeout?
Now he is. And Steve Wojciechowski claps his hands together, screaming, come on. A one-point game.
I'll tell you one thing, Wojo was not happy, and I can't blame him. That was a huge play.
Marquette balled each team with a couple of timeouts. 9 fouls against Marquette, 7 on the Friars. So they have double bonus in their favor already. Howard beats Diallo to the rim. Off the iron, the crowd going bananas, believing there was offensive goaltending.
Yeah, that was close.
Can the Friars claim the lead? Providence has not led since it was 38-37 at halftime. On the end line, the whistle. Elliott with his second. So that's 10 fouls on the Golden Eagles. And the Friars to the line with a chance for their first advantage since the early stage of the second half. And it's Kyron Cartwright, who's been inconsistent. Giveaways have plagued his night, but he's got 22 points to lead the team. Tie game. Helt returns with 4 fouls. Theo John subs away. Providence was up a point at half. Its first lead since. Rousey off glass on the end line shot, and Young says thank you.
Really good defense that time by Providence.
Cartwright one-handed to the rim. Young follows and blow it off.
Oh, wow.
It was on the cylinder.
That was great hustle by Khalif Young.
Remains a one-point game. No points for the Golden Eagles in 2.5 minutes. Hauser seems shocked to get the ball there. Rousey. Friars run. Lindsay off the fake. His first made bucket of the game.
He's the guy that's been nowhere to be found, makes a huge shot that time in transition.
10 unanswered.
Providence's defense has been really, really good the last 3-4 minutes.
Cartwright knocks it free. Last touch to Cartwright. 12 on the timer.
Look at Ed Cooley. Ed Cooley's beating the team at half.
Ball on the iron.
Oh, yes, it is. At least from that angle, it looked like it.
10 unanswered and a 14-2 spurt as the Friars have claimed a 4-point lead. Five to shoot. Howard. Jump give. Shot clock violation. The defense continues to ratchet up, and the frustration explodes for Steve Wojciechowski.
Providence's help on defense has been spectacular. It's not one guy guarding Marcus Howard and Andrew Rousey. It's 5 guys guarding those 2 guys. That is team defense.
Friars seek a clean possession other end. Cartwright out of a cannon, offensive foul. Greg Elliott helps to draw it. Cartwright has 3. Is he set?
You know, well, I don't think it's a matter of him being set. Is he had that spot there, and that's close. That's close.
Howard between the rings.
That's a bang-bang.
Steps back a smidge. Not enough room there. Providence ball.
Providence has really ratcheted up the man-to-man defense these last 5 minutes.
They're doing this without Rodney Bullock, the Friars' top scorer and rebounder, not even in the building tonight with the stomach flu. To the rim! Isaiah Jackson.
We said somebody was going to step up for Rodney Bullock. Isaiah Jackson's done a great job.
Averages 5.5 a game, 15 tonight. Rousey tried to up fake, and Lindsay would not take the bait. Hard slam to the floor for Jackson, and Rousey had a whistle.
What a great pass. Oh, they call it travel.
The crowd just now recognizes, so does Ed Cooley, who is irate. So full-timer.
Watch that night. Khalif Young is on Marcus Howard, but look at the help that comes over. Cartwright gets there a little bit late.
And Howard has a career-high tying 34 points.
Give Howard credit. He saw that Khalif Young was on him, and he said, I'm taking this guy, and he did, and the help didn't come that time.
The overplay, Hauser called for the foul. Hauser with 2, double bonus. So Jalen Lindsey, who has struggled at the stripe on the year at 61%, in fairly limited attempts. He's basically been a spot three-point shooter. Thrust to the line. Connects. He was at 74% a year ago. His points have come in big moments late in this game.
Absolutely.
Steve Wojciechowski wants to call timeout. 1 left for the Golden Eagles, 2 for the Friars. Up a couple of possessions. Big East basketball.
Tremendous foul shooter, so you want to get something going to the basket. Obviously, if you get a good three, taking it, but something going to the basket.
Howard springs free. Diallo smothers. So he goes left to the rim and puts it home.
And that's what we say, get something quick going to the basket. Now it's a matter of defense. You have to look out in this situation for Diallo and Isaiah Jackson. They have hurt them inside the lane.
Jackson denied by the much smaller Rousey.
And Diallo. They run that tight flex now that Al Skinner used to run at Boston College.
Ed Cooley spent a lot of time with Al Skinner on the sidelines. Nice fake. Blow it off on the floor. Double bonus in the Friars' favor. The aggression of Greg Elliott results in his third. And the Friars back to the line. Now, they're not a very good free throw shooting team. Second worst in the league, 302nd in the country at 66%. But Cartwright, a 79% shooter, not one of the Friars you want to foul. He's got a season-high 25. 26.
He needed to step it up tonight. His floor game wasn't great with those 7 turnovers, but he has stepped it up.
Howard banks it home, 39 points, a career night.
And that was such good defense by Diallo. Really tough shot. Very lucky that that went in.
He is 9 of 16 from outside. Marquette in dire need of a stop.
And they just got to play solid defense in a 3-point game now.
Jackson a mismatch with Rousey. And Cartwright can't handle in the corner.
He turned his head and he lost it. And this is really good defense.
Marquette calls timeout. It's final timeout. A nearly 7-second differential and a 3-point.
You know what I mean? So he's their best rebounder now, especially with Rodney Bullock out. So they need him in the game. And he's been very active defensively, helping out. But they need him in the game because they need a stop and they need a rebound.
Marquette down 3. Howard. And won a 40-point night.
And that's what you didn't want to happen.
93 consecutive free throw attempts.
Oh, I hope you didn't put it on him there. If this isn't a situation for a jinx, I don't know what is.
Howard to deadlock the game on the road.
No way.
54 in a row.
Providence got to get the last shot of the game. They have 1 timeout left. You got to run this thing down to about 6 seconds. Leave yourself enough time for an offensive rebound. I would try to get a pick and roll with Cartwright. He's been terrific in this game. He's your best player. Get him a high pick and roll and let him go with about 6 to go.
9 seconds. The screens come. He lobs to Diallo. The handoff muffed. Out of bounds. Marquette ball. No timeouts. 4.8 seconds.
What great defense by Elliott that time, not allowing them to. They got plenty of time, especially with those two quick guards. You know, you got to try and deny these guys the ball now, because both of them have enough speed to not only get a shot, but get this thing to the basket. While they caught it way in the backcourt.
Rousey for the win! Overtime! Allowed these Big East visitors to roar back late stage in the second and force overtime.
Well, Marquette's made 9 threes. They average 12. Marcus Howard has all 9 of them. None for Hauser, none for Rousey.
Rousey plagued with foul trouble, had 3 in the first half. Howard off the jab. Diallo with 4 fouls. Howard on high. Unconscious, 45 points.
You know, I was going to say, I think that the momentum here now is with Marquette. Providence clearly had it until that last minute. Now it's Marquette.
Howard set a goal of shooting 60% from 3 this year. Think it's nuts? He only shot 55 last year to lead the country. Cartwright against Elliott, who has smothered him.
That was great defense that time by Elliott again, John.
Jackson, the size mismatch with Rousey, whistle and foul. And it looks like they'll get Rousey here. That's his 4th. So Rousey and Helt with 4 apiece. Sakar Adam has already fouled out. Isaiah Jackson, 70% shooter at the line. It's the 25th meeting of Providence and Marquette, a series begun in the NIT in 1963 in the semifinals, when Ray Flynn, the MVP, had a stellar performance to win the game. They would go on to win that NIT title. Howard, corner, Rousey, his first made 3.
And you know what happens in that situation? Howard makes that happen. That was a hockey assist. He drives it, they help on him, kicks it to the corner, they try to scramble to him, and who they leave alone? Rousey.
Almost feels like the red light should be on.
All started with the dribble penetration by Marcus Howard.
Jackson looks to Lindsay. Extra give on the bounce. Diallo off the fake. Slips past Helt, rattles it down. Timeout, Providence. Smart timeout here.
It's so, if he scores the basket but doesn't get fouled in that situation, now it's up to Providence to win the game at the free throw line, but they didn't put themselves in that position. And Ed Cooley calls timeout because he's got to figure out some way to stop these guys.
Can they deny? Diallo sees him slip right past. Beat him off the bounce for the reverse.
This is like, I'm busting everybody up in this game. That's what this is.
He's got a very legitimate shot at 50. He's got 47.
I would say.
Cartwright. Bumped. That'll be Helt with his 5th.
And here's the thing. You're sitting there guarding this guy. You said, I can't give him a 3, but then you got to try to keep him in front of you. Right now, he has everybody running away from him. They don't know what to do with him. And that's the problem. When you're indecisive defensively, you don't do anything well. So now they're not guarding him off the 3. They're not guarding him off the dribble because of the indecisiveness and what to do with him, which I can understand.
Some indecisiveness here for Marquette. Now realizing that Helt is fouled out. Jamal Cain goes to the table. He'll take his spot.
Going really small.
So Helt done with 6 points. Cartwright at the line, 3:07 to go. This game's still very much within reach.
This is an interesting lineup because now they have Khalif Young in there who's going to have to guard Hauser, who's their 5-man. I don't know about that one.
Let's check in with John Rothstein.
And guys, if we have to illustrate the importance of this game for each team even more, think about what's coming down the road. On Saturday, Marquette travels to Villanova, and then on Saturday, Xavier comes to the dunk to take on Providence. So the 2 best teams in the conference, arguably, playing against Providence and Marquette coming up this weekend.
Appreciate that, John. Bad missed free throw. That's a tough one on the back end, even though he's got a career-high 27.
And Ed Cooley took Khalif Young out because he knew that was a bad matchup with Sam Hauser.
Howard stepping back. Come on. 50 points for Marcus Howard.
Come on. Come on.
He has set the program record for scoring. He has tied his own program record for made threes in a game with 11. Cartwright, the long two. True. But it feels moot because they cannot stop Marcus Howard.
No. Just give it to him, and you know what? Get out of the way. It's very simple. Give it to him and get out of the way.
Howard. The heat check finally comes. And a Bronx cheer in Providence, Rhode Island. Cartwright against Hauser. Diallo. Kicks the Jackson rhythm. Three. Off the heel. Rebound Providence. Jackson slips through.
That's charged.
Blocking foul.
Whoa. That was close.
That'll be 4 on Greg Elliott. What did you see?
He was moving.
Excuse me, that is his 5th. And Elliott has fouled out. So Elliott's done, Adams done, Helt's done. The story entering the game, bodies down for Providence on the year and the night due to injury and illness, but due to foul concern, the Golden Eagles have lost 3. They only have a 4-man bench of scholarship players. So Jackson at the line for a couple. $18 points tonight.
He's done a great job. And we have to also understand that Providence has played without their best player.
And Rodney Bullock not even in the building tonight. A story unearthed by our own John Rothstein that the stomach flu that derailed him from shoot-around today cost him the action tonight as well. Hauser gives it away. Cartwright attacking. And Kane, the weak side board.
You know, there was a situation that somebody else finally tried to make a play whose name wasn't Marcus Howard or Rousey, and it was Hauser, and he threw it away.
The roller coaster of emotion in this game tonight. 11 ties, 9 lead changes.
Oh, he carried it.
Howard slips on through, 52.
You know, I was going to say, last time he settled for a contested three, he's got to just keep driving it. I think it's a going off the dribble that has set everything up for him in the second half.
Under a minute. 1 timeout for each team, double bonus both teams, and a program record 52 points for Marcus Howard. Jackson wide open. Diallo.
Oh, that basket might be good. That's close.
Friars say count it. Our officials discuss.
Well, you can't go to the monitor on this one. No. Clean block.
So Diallo will shoot 2. That's a 46% outside shooter that missed a wide open look. Diallo hasn't been to the line a ton tonight. Sinks it.
To me, the strength of Isaiah Jackson, even though he's a 46% shooter, doesn't shoot a whole lot of them. They got to get this ball going to the basket, I think, is a big key. And now, Marquette. I know they like Rousey bringing it up to start, but I know whose hands you got to get it to.
Timeout, Marquette. 37 seconds. 2-point game.
This ball, not take a shot till the very end of the shot clock. Providence, solid defense. They'll have 10 seconds or 9 seconds to get a good shot down 2. Not a bad situation.
Rousey holds. Marquette 5 of 6 from the field in overtime, and that damage largely done by Marcus Howard.
Now you know he's going to get the ball in his hands here with about 7 to go. But Jackson doing a good job.
Crowd screams turnover. Hauser uncorks a three. Money make!
Wow.
One timeout for the Friars. Ed Cooley screaming double dribble as he storms out of the floor. Since March of last season.
And you got to think, give Providence credit. They made somebody else shoot the ball besides Rousey and Howard, and Hauser, who's a pretty good player himself, made him pay.
Lindsay will trigger. Cartwright races up.
Got to go to the basket quick.
No timeouts.
Not fast enough. He can take the three.
Cartwright. Off target, the putback. No. Marquette. The horn hits. Ed Cooley slams his hands on the table, but did the ball go out of bounds with time left? Relatively moot. But might they have to add a fraction of time here?
What a huge win for Marquette. I mean, it would have been a huge win and a great win for somebody. This is one of those games the loser's going to feel really bad and the winner's going to feel unbelievably good.
And they are beckoning the teams back to the floor. They'll put time on the clock here. Friars are going to fall to 10-6, 1-2 in league play, suffering just their second home loss against 7 victories, while Marquette will improve to 11-4, 2-1 in the league. And the horn hits. Steve Wojciechowski and the Marquette Golden Eagles come to Providence and win a thriller in overtime.